What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Monday, January 2nd, 2023. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all so much. It's always so weird in the beginning of a new calendar year, right? Switching over. I wanted to say 2022, probably because for 365 days I did say it, but I didn't. I got it right first try, so congrats to me. Hope everybody's doing well. Coming off this weekend with New Year's Eve and a New Year, and it's definitely a big celebratory weekend, and decent astrology, to say the least. And I would say that today has some very decent astrology too. Of course, there's the mind stuff. We've talked about that. We've kind of beaten that dead horse with Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, but there's a lot of other good stuff too. So let's take a look. Sun's going to be at 12 degrees, and it's making really good aspects to the nodes. So this does bring a fated element. This is trying to show us how to dedicate to the right kind of passions in life. There's certain things that can really stick, and they are part of a future here. And Saturn in Aquarius at 22 degrees, we'll see the moon at 22 degrees early in the morning make its square over to that Saturn. Definitely a lot of Capricorn energy. I mean, I think that today is really important about dedicating your emotions to the most important things. We say that all the time here, but this is, there's certain aspects of life that are just not working. They're frustrating, they're confusing. There's all these tiers. And I think that, you could wake up and feel that or find some frustration. But I would say that, it does get a lot better because this is helping us dedicate to the most valuable things, and not just to anything. Like, what are we super gluing ourselves to right now? It's important. Capricorn rules cement. We're in Capricorn seasons, concrete. What do we want to concrete? Like, what do we want to, it's almost like if we pour some concrete in life, like, what are we going to draw in it? Are we going to put a handprint, a footprint? Are we going to write our initials, a heart with what we love? So it's like the concrete in some ways is fresh right now with Jupiter in Aries at 1 degree. And I think that it's really important to not overthink, because we can want to overthink. And I'm going to get into this Mercury a little bit more. Retrograde, Mars retrograde, we can want to overthink it. But I feel like the soul knows what would be the most purposeful to put into this wet concrete that's about to dry. And it's not so much of an overthinking as it is really what you believe and what you feel and what is amplifying your life. And I think that it has to do with the moon in Taurus here, that is about value. It's about solidity within yourself and having a strong relationship to yourself so that you can get through situations. Venus is going to be spending its final day in Capricorn at about 6:02 p.m. on the west coast of the United States. It'll ingress into Aquarius. And it just came off the conjunction with Pluto, so now it's in between Saturn and Pluto. It's kind of a dark hole here in some ways. But I would say this Venus in Aquarius is definitely, giving us an odd approach to create the value necessary, and that it's gone through the transformative process. It's seen what actually does hold value long term. And now it's kind of like, well, do you have the revolutionary spirit within yourself to figure it out in new, unique ways and to try things? And I think that Venus in Aquarius is all about so many different aspects of reality are connecting you to value, but you have to, in some ways, be willing to try different approaches, see what's out there. It's very what's up with it? Like, what you almost have to taste all shades of the rainbow. So maybe if you're feeling by the end of the night, it's almost like the concrete's wet enough that if you start out the day and you etch something into it in your life, that you can still come back later in the evening when Venus comes into Aquarius and when the moon trines over to Mercury in the morning, but trines over to Pluto and trines over to Venus, which will be, if the moon's at 26, yeah, they'll trine in air with the moon coming into Gemini this evening. And it's almost like it's a big help actually, because the moon's going to want to feel the excitement of trying that new flavor. So it's almost like, again, what you etch in the morning doesn't have to, it's not like the day's going to finish that way. I think the day does finish in a more not so heavy way, because the day starts off with moon square Saturn, and eh, it will also sextile over to Neptune and Juno, and it will also, Venus is going to come into Aquarius and start making its sextile over to Big Jupe this week and for the next couple days here. And the moon's going to sextile Big Jupe, and sextile Venus or trine Venus. So, I mean, wow, talk about a lot of benefic energy that is linking up. But it's about sort of a revolutionary identification of your story. And, I think realizing that you have the ability at any moment to change it. Nothing is as concrete, you know. Capricorn makes us think, right? But there's a lot of illusion to reality and to Saturn and to control or suppression. And I think we have to also know that we can amplify the positive things and we can get out of situations that are overbearing and, be a revolutionary for our life and our journey and our story and the excitement and the communication, and that we can feel actually very secure within our mind if we have a good outlook or bigger perspective about where things can go, instead of just little things being like, gosh damn it, this will never get better, you know. So I would say that tonight and, coming into tomorrow, very, very good astrology. So it's just definitely like, get out of your mind, get into the things that feel really good, and try the exciting things. Go be around people that make you feel good. This is definitely, a time to be around really, really beautiful energy, I would say, especially come into the night. Also, Mercury's at 22 degrees retrograde, which is where it was retrograde when it met with Saturn and Pluto on January 12th of 2020. Very auspicious day, of course. And it's very interesting that this January 12th, we're going to see Mars come direct. So very interesting that 3 years later, Mars is going to come direct in Gemini, where Mercury rules. So I'll be honest with you guys. I know it might seem like things are confusing and chaotic, but boy, oh boy, are we starting to really understand what transformation took place within us, about where destiny is going and where the future is going. And you're going to start to see some beautiful signs. And there's a nice little sextile triangle with Saturn to Neptune with a sextile, or with a semi-sextile, and Mercury sextile Neptune, and Mercury at that spot where it met with Saturn and Pluto, but now Saturn's at 22 Aquarius with a semi-sextile. So there's a lot of really positive transits in this chart, and it's good stuff. You just got to use it. It's almost like we can let little things really be amplified more than they need to be, or anger getting blown out of proportion. Like we can want to, start some crazy war. I don't think anything has to be war, but gosh, like, how can you believe in beauty? It's like really we're choosing how beautiful we want this year to go almost on a day like January 2nd. Where's our mindset? Are we in an illusion of being trapped and stuck and suppressed? Or are we really believing and seeing and imagining how beautiful life can be, but not only just about where it can be and what that is, but the present moment in time that is beautiful too. And that all the pain from the past was just really about birthing more love. And you wouldn't even be able to birth love if it wasn't for pain, right? Think about childbirth in itself. There's a lot of pain involved in childbirth, but it births instant love. And that's just how it works with everything in life. Whether it's a child or just the self-love, we usually have to go through some process in life that is painful so that we can learn what love is. Life is all about polarity, duality. We have to do both all the time. Can't have one without the other. Dark, light, up, down, left, right. Everything has its polarity, and we don't want to get stuck in the negative polarity. We definitely want to see the beauty and have that unconditional love to create abundance in our life and to move into exciting territories and timelines and futures with people. And that's just all about being present in that time now. And I think the more beautiful you could look at a day like this and not over stress or get down on reality, because I feel like we're all kind of, maybe not we're all, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know that myself personally, like, I'm like at a point where it's like, is it always going to kind of be this way? And I know it's not. And I have to get into my, my strong spiritual psyche and be like, no, I know it's not. I can't let these things drive me into this, abyss of darkness, because I know that there's so much light, and I know that sometimes going into that thought process takes me into that abyss. And it also reminds me of how much light and beauty and connection and love and friendship and, you know, how beautiful this life is too, and how we can create that. And I think big time, big time day to get back to that present moment in time and to be here and to be stoked instead of bleh. And I know that it's hard. There's always something, trying to, whether it happens today or just in life, there's always something that's trying to just be in a bad mood. Just be upset. And it's okay to be upset too. We can't spiritually bypass these things all the time. But there is something about today where, again, it is actually, gosh, and again, these are the things I don't usually say, but like, it almost is a day where it's like the universe is trying to have you spiritually bypass really not understood situations or weird things or misunderstandings or things not going according to plan or it's almost like we do want to at this time bypass that stuff and be like, life is beautiful. I don't need to be upset or worked up, because there's so much abundance that just got birthed, and there's so much love that just got birthed, and we did not go through, especially the last 3 years, for nothing. So we definitely are at a point too where I think, we got to give ourselves a lot of love and a lot of credit and a lot of recognition for the growth that we have all encountered and transmuted in our lives, and a lot of butterflies coming out of cocoons right now, and a lot already have, but I think even the ones that have just realized how big their wingspan and how beautiful their wings actually are. And stoked for that, for the collective too. And the work's never done, and we didn't come here for nothing, guys. Can feel like that at times. Trust me, I'm with you. I know it can. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, this is definitely a time to pay attention to what's important and what's not important. There's a lot of things in life that don't need to be hoarded, whether they're emotions, feelings, doubts, literally physical objects in our lives that we think are so important that aren't. We have to understand, stop putting so much weight and value on certain things that are just part of an illusion. If we're just focused too on the monetary, like monetary is great, and I know we need it to survive and to live in this current reality, but soul capital is just so much more valuable, and that can only be abundant if you believe it's abundant within yourself. Physical abundance isn't going to bring you soul abundance. So if we're feeling a little low in the checking or savings account, definitely don't don't let that be a reason that you're feeling like this next year or life just can't turn around, because I'm definitely here to tell you it can, but you kind of have to change your perspective on importance of value right now too, and what is and what isn't. Oh, Six of Wands. Victory, marching forward. It's out there. There's a lot of wins taking place in life right now too, and even if the wins are small, they have a lot of importance at figuring out new ways to create abundance. And if we don't feel abundant, we have to remember that we're victorious in this life. And, we didn't come here to not make it. And I think that we also have to remember that, and stop looking for external validation from victory, whether it be monetarily with that Four of Pentacles in reverse or not. It's not about that victory. It's about you recognizing that you don't have to strive for victory, that you're already victorious because you're here. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Lovely. I love getting those cards reversed. There's certain cards that I just am like, thank God it's reversed. And I would say that the Five of Pentacles is one, because we're getting out of, poverty consciousness, self-worth issues. We're starting to really look at ourselves in a victorious way, and I think that it has nothing to do with things, and I know most of you know that, and I think that's a big part of the channel, as this moon's making a lot of these aspects, and they're really nice aspects, especially the trines, right, to all this Capricorn energy the last 2 days. If we think that the only abundant thing or great thing in life is physical, with the great aspects to Neptune that's taking place right now, we are missing the whole point. And that's not where you're going to find victory and love and passion to keep going. So definitely might be a check on all of us to stop tripping on some kind of physical thing, whether it be monetary or whatever. Whatever dense object in this reality is so important. These things don't build the character of a soul. So I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful Monday, and I will see you tomorrow for Tuesday's horoscope. Much love. Peace.